Hello everyone and welcome to the round 4 of Anti-Stall Racing IMSA series. Today we are at the Brazil track of Autódromo José Carlos Paz, as we will start the qualifying really soon. Today also I have a new commentator here in the booth. Hello Anthony, welcome everyone to Anthony Malone.
Hello Balo, I'm so excited for my first cast here. I'm a big racing fan, but it's my first chance to actually get to commentate over a race and not commentate over the more chaotic side of esport action. So I'm excited to see talented racers and an exciting track. It's a nice combo.
Exactly. So, we are starting with the GT3 Qualifying. Both pros and AM drivers go in. We have some changes on the championship. We have now Ruben Stegman and Stefano Gattuso now bumping up to the pro class because they were really far ahead from the others on the AM class. So that should put them, the points were also reset for them. Not reset like gone, but recalculated, so to say. So they are still based on the position they finished against the other GT3 pro cars. Right.
It's never easy to make a big skill jump like that either.
Yeah, because it was divided by iRating, and iRating can even vary a lot because of the cars that you drive usually. Some people gain a lot of iRating, which is basically the ELO rating, you know, from other games. And people can gain it from driving open wheel cars. But they go on this car, which is more of a tin top car, glass car, and they might struggle more, you know. So it's hard to set an iRating specific on the type of car you are driving, but iRacing will actually change it. They will make an update to it, so it's based on the type of car that you drive. So you see now some cars are like giving some space to the cars in front so that they have enough space for a qualifying lap. Let's go to Simon Guerrero, which is the first driver on the grid here. Actually, I should make a quick lap of how the track is, because some viewers might not actually be used to seeing this track.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting track. I feel like the dynamics of this one have interesting, especially that kind of that 7 to 11 zone per turn. So please take us through it.
We'll take it afterwards. I just need to put also a track map so you can see the format, how it is. There we go. It isn't a very long track, by the way. Everyone is already doing their laps, so there's, I think, only one car on the pits. So next time, if even Rupe is going to do next lap, we will see it on board and I can give a run through the lap. So far, amazingly, the first guys that are doing their laps don't have all-purpose sectors, so on their respective classes. That's what you see on below. We see that Simon Guerrero is going to be the first one to cross the line on the Porsche here. Let's see what lap time that puts them in. 1:32.4, that's now the time to beat.
Fairly strong for out of the gate, setting a nice tone.
Indeed, Carlos Boas actually, Alessandro Porta just made that 1:42.2 lap.
Yeah, right as we said that, because at first I was kind of looking at Carlos, but then yeah, Alessandro pulls through, and that's a really strong time.
Indeed it is. Now Rupe has the fastest lap. He is doing another lap, and I forgot to start the rundown, but doesn't matter. We will go through the next time. So we are getting closer to the 141s. Of course, the first lap isn't always the best one. You still need to do another lap, which is usually the faster one. The tires are ready. They are hotter, which makes the grip much higher on these cars. So Alessandro Porto is now in the pit. He is going to exit the pit. We will look at him, and I will give a rundown through the lap. Another thing to notice is that currently I am showing everyone every lap together, but the classes, we can see it here. Top 7 are the pro drivers doing their lap times. faster than the AM drivers. So now it's a bit more balanced. Even though we have some two pro drivers, including Ruben Stegman, which is even currently the lowest of the pro drivers on the lap time. He will surely improve his lap time later on. But now it should be more balanced.
The drivers have made the jump up as well.
Exactly.
So a lot of it's a feeling out process.
Yeah. But as it is now, it's a lot more balanced, and that's what the objective of changing that class was. So, let's just go real quick on the onboard. He should be doing now 2 more corners before he goes and does his lap. Where is the camera? There we go. Okay, so get a lot of speed here on the exit, because from now on it's all full throttle to get on the finish line, start-finish line. Alexander Porter currently P2. He will try to improve his lap time to get that P1 from Rupert, currently our championship leader of the GT3 Pro class. Crosses the line now and he starts his lap time. So, hard braking's on the left, goes deep into the inside, now to the right corner. Cut as much as you can, but without getting an off track there. Very close. Now, full throttle here on the left side. It's a very long left corner. Now, another hard braking zone on here. Another opportunity to overtake as well on this track. But it is still left, a very long left corner here. Use as much as the right curbs as possible. Still be careful now for the off track on the right side. Double hander here to the right. Carry a bit of speed, accelerate a bit, and use the curbs on the right. Now stay yourself on the left. To now a hard braking hairpin to the right. Carry a bit to the speed of the medium left corner here to the left. As he goes a bit uphill, another right corner. Hard braking here. Sliding a bit, we see him overcorrecting his wheel. Now, on these cars, it's not really full throttle on this corner, where the prototype should be. Stay here on the right side. You can go a bit more, because that one is not gonna cut off on our track. And now, full throttle back to the finish line. That is a simple track. I mean, not that many corners, but there is a lot of corners connecting to each other, which makes it even harder than just a brake, right corner, brake, left corner. You have to connect to the other corner, like on this one, when you use as much speed from this corner to carry on to the right side and then to the left side. It's a tricky track, that's for sure, especially with the cambers.
Yeah, I think one thing that we could even just kind of learn from watching our onboard lap here is when you get into that chaos zone, that 6 through 11 that I had mentioned previously, any racing there is going to be dangerous, because it's kind of tempting to maybe set up for an overtake there, depending on how you can get into those turns, but you can really overdo it really easily, and it's going to be difficult if you play too aggressive there. If you kind of overthink those zones, you could way risk contact, or again, those off-track penalties you had mentioned.
Yeah. Well, so far our son didn't improve his lap time from that onboard that we saw, but it is on the second lap, so anything is possible. Not that many people even actually improving their lap times, but we do see some people still trying their laps. Some green sectors on the bottom. Yeah, you can see it. Marcel got a purple sector there. Actually goes up to P3 with a 132.3. Now Alexander is going to use the slipstream from the car ahead to maybe get his lap time even better. It's a good opportunity for him for improving his lap time, but it's all yellow sector, so I don't think it's going to be much of an improvement. We can see there was a yellow sector on the last one, all from that slipstream, but it wasn't enough for an improvement on the lap time.
For sure, indeed. And one thing I'm really excited about, and part of it's kind of the simpleton in me, but those long straights always kind of add so much depth to not even just the turn you're coming off of. Because you're going into the straight, you're heading towards the start-finish line. It's really tempting to expect the crazy racing there. But I always find that turn, the first turn after the straight, after you cross start-finish, you get back to the first turn of the track. I think that's a really interesting zone, because you're going to have so much speed. And you mentioned it on our go-through that the overtakes there could be really exciting to watch, and for me, something I'm curious to see, especially for our 2 drivers who are stepping up a class, as we talked about, is how confident are they going to be early on? It's definitely going to fix the balances. Oh no, off the track goes Carlos.
Yeah, he just finished his lap time there. It was he finally beat Rupert's lap time, so that's why he parked it on the right side, so that he can reset and try again. 5 minutes left on the qualifying, so they will do another run.
But yeah, just kind of clean up my point there is for these guys stepping up to the higher class, a big thing for me is the confidence on overtakes and the confidence getting through, and you know how safe they take things, because it's going to be very easy to sit back and coast, but if you're put up here for balance, it's a good time to show exactly why and not take it too afraid.
You can see the lap times, especially in the top 3, it's not even that different from each other. Only separated by a 10th. So there's still improvements to do per sector. Kevin Butler now just doing a first per sector. Can he actually improve his lap time to go even higher than Simon Garau of the same class? He does not. So there's still improvement to be done. Look, for example, Simon Garau now with 2 purple sectors here. Porsche driver is just gonna cross the line. No, he actually goes into the pit lane. So he aborted his lap time. Interesting.
Coming up on 12 minutes through qualifying so far. Have there been any times, anything exciting that's kind of jumping out to you?
Currently, I would say at least people are...
calmer start than last week, the qualifying.
Yes, especially when there's such a shorter track compared to last week, which was Sebring. Sebring is a big track. Well, from interesting point though, P1, P2 are not Italians, and P3, P4, 5, 6, all the way to P11 it's all Italian drivers. There's a lot of Italian fan base here, and a lot of Italian drivers on this ASR series, which is great to see. So many special teammates that want to be here together participating on our anti-stall racing series.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the best things that I've seen in my short time here is the variation of cultures and backgrounds, but you know, all with that same common goal, that same interest. It's a nice environment.
Well, 2 minutes to go. I think it's enough for one more lap. No, actually, no. It can do one more lap, and then the lap that's after the basically overtime for the GT3s, while the GTPs start getting themselves on the grid.
Definitely excited to see my first GTP laps. I've been looking forward to that basically since I signed on, so very excited to see them take the track.
What's your favorite GTP car?
Oh, that's tough. And we were talking about this before the race actually, or the qualifying actually even started. I love the look of the McLarens, and I kind of can't get over it, but...
Those are GT3s. But I mean the GTP, that's the class that's a prototypes.
Oh, the prototypes. Sorry, yeah. I misheard you when you said it.
Oh. We have the Porsche, we have the Acura, we have the Cadillac, and the BMW.
Yeah, I'm torn between Porsche and Cadillac. I really am, because there's something about the Cadillacs that just, it's so classic to me. And I had mentioned to you as we were kind of introducing ourselves to each other that I had a big interest when I was a kid. I'd sit there as a kid and kind of go through the Rolex 24, and that look just kind of is engraved in my brain, and it hits that nostalgia nerve, you know.
Wait, which year did you went to watch it?
I didn't go. I did live in the same state, but I actually just kind of put it on. I was a weird kid, you know. Being like,
okay.
I think I was the first time I put it on. I was like 7 or 8, and I basically had it on the entire day and just kind of checked back and forth. You know, it was funny because, you know, 7 or 8, you don't exactly know every detail of what you're watching. So
Yeah.
the multi-class at the time put my brain in a spiral.
Because the regulations actually changed this year for the IMSA. These cars that we see here only started this year at Daytona 24 Hours of 2023. So these are completely different cars from years ago too.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite, I would say, is the Cadillac, just because I think it looks good, like as a prototype, but also the sound is just
That's
bone
true,
shaking.
yeah.
The sound of it's just amazing. Alright, so qualifying has ended for GT3, so you can still put on their last laps. From what it's looking like, it's going to be Carlos Moza in P1, Kurkipa in P2, and Alessandro Porta in P3. Unless Alessandro can still make an improvement on his lap time, but it's all yellow sector, so I don't think it's going to be an improvement. Meanwhile, the GTPs are already leaving the pits. So let's just look at this. Yeah, João Dias here, Portuguese driver. Ooh, almost hitting the wall. I think the car behind did hit the wall. We have to be really careful here on the pit exit, that's for sure. Especially with cars that have this much speed, because it's really narrow.
Yeah, we did see the GT3s have some problems right out at the start of qualifying. We saw a couple cars spin, or excuse me, that was actually practice. We saw a couple cars have some issues, so looking to definitely see these guys have a cleaner start to things here.
Yes. I think we can also do a little rundown on the prototypes, so that you can also see the difference in speed and how fast these cars take the corners, which is really interesting. Alright, here we go. As he still gets ready, he's on the last corners here. He has, well, 2 cars ahead of him. Hopefully they don't ruin his lap time, but he is slowing down a bit to let the other cars pass. As he now starts his lap time, oh, that was a bit too slow there on the corner. He went too much on the outside. Maybe not enough speed, but we'll continue on. It's his still first lap, so it's still room for improvement. Anyway, onto the start finish line. First corner here, going down here on the left side. You can cut a lot more than the GT3s. It still looked like he could improve his lap time. He didn't even go full throttle here. I think this is not going to be his fast lap time. I think he actually, yeah, this is not going to be his fast lap time. So let's go to Robin Duhamel real quick. Yeah, he's far ahead. So on this corner, notice that he can actually do it a lot faster. Onto this hairpin to the right. Cuts more on the first gear. Now he does this one on first gear actually. Usually I do it on second gear, but seems that he wants to do it on first gear to have more wheel rotation. Now this one, he doesn't need to lift off, unlike the GTPs, though I think he just did on the exit. Might be because of his cold tires. I'm actually not sure. Using all of the electric energy, because these cars are hybrid, to boost up to the straight. He goes, forgot this, there we go, 240 kilometers per hour, which I don't think you know how many that is in miles.
Yeah, I'll be doing my translations the entire race, but around 150 there is still impressive for the fellow Americans hanging out.
He went to 280 kilometers per hour on that straight, but he seems like he is cancelling his lap time, so he still has the current fastest lap time of the class. Of course, still a lot of time to go before we see some proper fast lap times.
Yeah, like you mentioned, they got to acclimate to the track too. Tires are a massive issue. That was something I definitely heard you guys harping on last week. That really stuck in the brain. and I
Yeah.
think that's going to be massive for qualifying. And I think you pointed it out on that one turn we saw it taken really rough. I think once we have the tire difference, those turns will be much more exciting to watch. And you know, hopefully, speaking of just kind of this qualifying and looking through, hopefully Diaz will have a much more impactful lap here soon, because that was a rough start that we saw in that first onboard.
Yeah. So Eloy currently P10 is going to cross the line, and it is a P1, 9/10 ahead of P2, and that was Juancho Alvaro, his teammate, just scored an even faster lap time. You see, they're using both the same livery. And Matis, our currently championship, our championship leader, just crossed. Nope. Then he essentially also took out the pole position, provisional pole, with a 121.2. A lot of action happening now. That battle for the first position, of course. Daniel still has to do his second lap. That was only his first, so there's still, well, a chance for him to make an even faster lap time. Meanwhile, Matis just did one lap oh no, the first lap was actually P11 position, so that's his second lap that he placed himself on P2, but Daniel still has time here to improve, so can Juancho Alvaro here as well. He had a purple sector, but he doesn't have no more. I think Daniel Sage is gonna take that provisional pole even further. We will see.
And Daniel and Monty are in a really tight race in the standings, so that's a very important, not just for qualifying, obviously, but that's a very important pair to keep our eyes on throughout the race. Because they're Monty and Daniel, because their points are much closer.
Then he said that he goes a purple sector, and this should be 2 purple sectors. It is going to be a faster lap time by 3/10 now that we have the first 120s. Then he said he's setting the benchmark for the other drivers. Matis, here with his teammate behind as well, now going to start his first push lap.
I guess Daniel took it personally that he wasn't the choice for the onboard.
Oh, there's a spin right ahead. It might have ruined. Oh, yeah, it ruined his lap time. And Matis just slowed down, but the teammate behind him just crashed into him. So that's a lap reset he has to do. He still has 7 minutes to go. Still time to improve.
I feel like most of the trouble we've seen so far have all been in the same area.
Look at that. Daniel Sage is still improving in his lap time, at least with a purple sec. No, he just decides to go to the pit.
Still important to look out for. It's clear Daniel's got a great idea of things heading into the race today.
What, the pit entry?
More so just the lap times, especially that, I mean, out the gate, that first lap being, like you said, it was a benchmark for the rest of the field, and considering that was the first lap out on the track, a lot to look out for.
Yeah. So you see the field is mostly just Cadillacs. There's like some Porsches here. We have 2 BMWs here of Kevin Gavin and Ricardo Tallin, and only 1 Acura. We saw Tommy Patero really fight it for the race win on Sebring 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get the victory, or I think he did, but the supposedly leader did get a penalty, and that's why he got the win. I need to confirm it real quick. No, Matis won the previous race in Sebring. Tony Patero got 2nd place. Is Tommy now going to finally put a lap in? Let's go for an onboard to hit the accurate sound. You see, he has to cross those lines. It's fine because it's not pit entry. It's not going to pit. He can cross the lines as freely as he needs to. Looked a bit wide there, but he can still push here. Fine. You can see on the map that he's pretty much cleared ahead. The car number 14, P14, is well on his distance, so it's not gonna have an incident of someone spinning ahead of him and cancelling his lap time. Eloy Caballero just improved his lap times, and he goes to P1. We will see his lap time soon. I just want to see if Tommy can actually put a lap time. He has been a really quick driver. He did get pole position on Sebring. Seems like he is struggling a bit on Interlagos here. So far the lap time looks tidy. Use as much of that curb as possible. Oh no, I think that's a mistake from him. You can see the car just sliding on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, a couple of times now we've seen him get very squarely off those corners.
Yeah. It seemed like it was going to be a fast time. You can see a purple sector here. But I don't think that's going to be a provisional pole from Tommy. It's at least a P6, but he can still put on a second lap there. He still keep going. So yeah, Eloy Caballero, he now is the second person to get a 120.9. 15 milliseconds ahead of Daniel Sedgley. These two have really close lap times. Daniel just put another lap, but I think that's in his out lap, so it was a 126. Matis was doing another lap, but he just decided to pit, so that's not an improvement for him. Let's go back to Tommy. Tommy actually just exited the pit, I guess. That wasn't his another push lap that he was going to do.
And as we look through the field too, another important person to keep eyes on will definitely be Sebastian Bugraf, because rocking in third position currently in the points and right in the heels of Daniel Sedgley. Be somebody really important to keep our eyes on, and somebody who this race, you know, this is a trendsetter for the rest of the season, still early on, so can make a lot of ground up here too.
Yeah, currently he's qualified in P13, which is really below the other drivers here. He is
below
much
standards for third place in the standings.
Yeah. See, you can see a distance between car P6 and P7. It's about 5/10 of a difference in lap time. Meanwhile, the rest ahead is pretty close. Two minutes to go before the warm-up. And then the hour-long race.
It's a fast lap times in the qualifying, but I'm definitely excited for the warm-up to get a better idea of what we kind of can expect to see throughout the race, and to definitely to fill myself with some questions too for you.
When the classes are all bunched up together.
Exactly, it'll be exciting to see, and it'll, like I said, it's gonna fill me up with questions for you too. So
yeah, no problem.
We'll get to have some fun there too. I love the livery for Eloy and his teammate.
Yeah, there's actually more. It's Eloy, it's Juanzo, that's currently in the pits, and Alvaro Gutierrez as well. They're all three teammates. I think there's someone else. Yeah, Carlos Ponce as well. There are like 4 teammates using the same Cadillac as well. They're all using Cadillacs.
Just about 30 seconds left. Eloy's sitting very comfortable right now.
The growling noise is amazing. Even for the distance. iRacing replicates the car sounds pretty well on these cameras. The qualifying is done. Now the laps that are happening will be the last ones that people can put. Number car currently Alvaro Gutierrez is gonna be the last one to cross the line. Let's see now. Eloy can push ahead on that pole position. The lap time that he currently has is enough for a pole position. Don't think Daniel, which is still on track, can improve that, but let's see. 129, 120.9, it's gonna be 120.8. It is an improvement. Let's see, Daniel said you got a first purple sector, but all the rest are the L sectors. I think he's gonna pit. I think he is quitting, yeah. It's good to practice your pit entry anyway, so that you don't get... There's a pit spin limit that you have to go through, and if you go too fast, you're gonna get like 40 seconds of penalty. So it's good that they practice that as well. Tony Pater now puts himself in P3. Meanwhile, P4 crosses the line. Alvaro Gutierrez crosses, and that is not an improvement. He stays in P5. So yeah, we did see Tommy struggling in the beginning, but he did put enough of a lap to start in P3. Good for him. Mati is the current championship leader of the GTP, only qualifies P6.
Yeah, big shakeup actually. If you look at standings to qualifying, and if I'm Daniel Setchley, I'm very happy with how that's worked out.
That's true. But you know, in an hour-long race, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Judging from Daniel's results, the previous race actually, he didn't get that many points, so he's hoping to
I was just gonna
bank
say,
it.
Sebring definitely taught us that anything can happen in that time, or
Yeah.
anything can happen in that first, 30 seconds.
I will want to see how these first quarters are going to be in multi-class. I mean, the first lap in general with all these cars just going through that chicane in the beginning. Gonna be interesting for sure. Now, warm-up. It's gonna be 5 minutes. Now, drivers have the chance to practice race conditions, race setup, and as well, they can also go to the bathroom real quick. And even us, we can have some... If you have any questions, I can also answer. I will tell you the lap times and what starting position will be, but not everyone because there's so many. There's I forgot how many cars it is. But there's a lot of cars, so I cannot go through all the cars while they are gridding. But I will tell you just at least the top 10 of each class.
Another gorgeous livery for Arupa.
Yeah. This driver as well has been driving all the anti-stall racing series. Just a moment.
You let me know if you can hear me now. Yeah, clear. Loud and clear.
So that was our race control and detachment, checking if the radio was working. Now, I was gonna say, Rupe has been here in another anti-stall racing series.
This is a warning for racing club.
Specifically, he was fighting for the win against Brandon Hawkin on the touring cars. And also, he drove for the GT4 class on this previously sports car series, so it's always the same livery. He has all the teammates, but I don't think they are driving this time with him here. But he seems to be really good with the Porsche here, like, there's just no competition for him.
sure Sebastian has a lot to try to figure out in this warm-up. Didn't have the greatest qualifying time, certainly, and as we mentioned, fighting for a lot in the standings. So this warm-up was really important for Sebastian to kind of figure out what was going on during qualifying, what was lacking.
Looking at the other drivers here, the leaves that they are using and everything. Ruben Safemir, anti-stall racing driver. They are both gonna try pitting now. Ruben is gonna practice the pit entry. Be careful to not lock up and get the penalty, and he does well. Yeah, when you see the cars going up, it's they are changing tires. Which currently we don't have well, pit crews when we do broadcasting, but at least we know if the driver is changing tires, which I don't think they need it. Actually, they don't need to change tires for an hour along the race, but they will need to refuel at least twice. Actually, no, I'm wrong. On this track, because you see that there are so many high-speed corners, that wears the tires a lot more, so they will surely have to pit at least once for changing tires, and they can do it while refueling.
It'll be an exciting dynamic to watch file out as we get through the race with about 20 seconds left in the warm-up. When do you expect to see those first pits come out during the race?
Let's see some other cameras, shall we? Oops, that was the wrong one. There we go. The warm-up is going to start. And we will go on to the grid, shall we? So let's see.
Right, everyone, as a reminder, for the GT3, please leave an adequate gap to the hypercar leaders. To the hypercar pole sitter, as a reminder, make sure you leave a decent gap to the safety car before the start zone, so that you can go in the start zone without any issues of catching the safety car before the start-finish line. And everyone, enjoy the race, try and survive, please be patient with each other, please be nice to each other, and have fun.
Exactly, that's race director there, warning the drivers to keep up this pace.
And considering what we saw at the start of the of the previous race, the try to survive is actually a very relevant thing to keep in mind.
It is, yes. So, let's go. Top 10. Eloy Caballero, Daniel Sérgio in P2, Tony Patero in P3, Juan Valley in P4, Alvaro Gutierrez in P5, Matheus Winton in P6, P7 for Stefano Rebesti, P8 for Carlos Pons, P9 for Danny Ronke, and P10 for Ricardo Tallin. Let's just go for the other classes, because there are so many. Carlos Boza in P1 of the GT3 Pros, P2 for Alessandro Porta, P3 for Rupe, P4 for Nicole Venditti, P5 for Marcelo Caserta, P6 for Andrea Dalla. Actually, it should be showing overall, so that we actually see where the GT3s are placed in together with those. There we go. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So, you see that the GT3 AMs are still a lot further behind the GT3 Pros. Usually the Ruben would be much higher placed compared to the other GT3 AMs, so now it balances out. That's what I wanted to show before we go on to almost starting the grid. But let me just go back to see who places themselves in the AM class. So, Simon Agaro is in P1, Kevin Booth in P2, Stefan Albanese in P3, Samir Ashad in P4, Marco Capezzoli in P5, and Leon Evod P6, Alfonso Queiroz in P7, Michael Boutin in P8, Anthony Quaranta in P9, and Ricardo Riva in P10. As we now finally go on, start the race. see the pace car starting to go in.
Green, green, green.
And it goes green.
Expecting a lot of chaos right from the start, like we saw last time.
Yeah, so Ella keeps it in P1 there. There's no accidents here happening. Everyone keeps a safe space in between. Shotometer, but there does a mistake there. He loses a position. So far behind. I think there was only one crash behind them. But everyone's still keeping. And we go to the GT3s. Also keeping themselves distant apart. Everyone being very respectful. Ooh.
There was some contact though into the corner.
Yeah, between Rupe and Nicolo. But the car is sturdy enough, they can keep going. Meanwhile, everyone's behind, just taking themselves out. Everyone is being a bit respectful. We see someone hard defending there. Let's see now, Rupe gets a bit pushed off by Nicolo. And we see behind, that's Andrea De Leva. Trying to...
Oh, he's gonna get spun! That's gonna be a mess.
They will probably have to pit right now. Let's see, back on the GTPs, everyone now is being single file, everyone keeping themselves pretty distant from each other. Meanwhile, the G3s are still pretty close together. We see some too wide on certain corners behind. Then if we touch in P4, we can only have Carlos Boza in P1, still carrying out the lead, hasn't lost a position. So, before we go check out the incidents, let's just keep going, see what else is happening. We see the battle there between Leon Elivut there. He's still going to stay on the outside. The Ferrari behind is not going to attack him yet, but he does do the corner a bit too wide. Still enough to do on the inside of the next one. We see a little touch there between. Oh, that was Marco Capizzuoli.
Oh, gonna grab another two in the way out. And more wrecks behind them.
Yes, there was Emmy Graham there with an incident. We will go back there in a second. Let's just see what else is happening ahead.
Incident just piling up so far early on. We're not even 3 minutes in.
Still less dangerous than it was on other tracks.
Yeah, that's true. Especially for the GTPs. They had a very clean start.
Yeah, they have. Mostly just being single file now, but what is that behind? That is a battle between Robin Duhamel. So, let's just real quick check the incidents that happened, shall we? So we had the first one, which is not showing here for some reason. There we go. So, let's see, Nicole.
This was the one where Rupa, they were racing really intensely, but Rupa got really aggressive kind of into this next turn. You'll see the spin.
Yeah, the tap. And that takes his teammate as well.
Kind of the worst case scenario there.
But there was apparently another crash right up ahead with the same car of Andrea Del Valle. Even though he was just a passenger on the previous incident. Shame for him, but actually I don't think anything is going to happen. I think it just crosses the line there and goes straight to the pits. The sport's still going really slow before he jumps to the pits, I think. Yeah, it is. Where is the other? There you go. This is the incident I wanted to see as well. We saw this Porsche and the Ferrari. This
collected everybody.
Yeah, the Porsche just didn't stop for the Ferrari ahead of him. Just went through.
Not at all.
And I think there's also a fault here from Marco, who didn't push his brakes. He just left the car rolling. But that's for the stewards to check out. We saw the crash right behind with Amy Graham. What did she do? She was just a passenger in this accident as well, wasn't So she slows down. Oh, and loses control because of that.
Oh, yep. Had to
Yeah, this is the accident we saw.
avoid Marco, because Marco just kind of got stuck in the middle of the track there. So Amy just got caught up just trying to do the right thing, unfortunately.
Battle for the lead here for the GTPs, and Alexander Porta goes up to P1. That was right. I moved the camera just on the right time, but I want to see if that was a clean pass, because I think there was a little bit of touch between both cars. This is no, this was a different overtake that we missed as well. It goes on the inside clean. That was a clean move there. But this is the one I wanted to check out. So he just goes on the inside here. Yeah, they don't. Carlos Boss actually gives him space, so they didn't hit. It looked like it was a bit of contact, but no. It was just a clean pass. Alexander just moves up to P1. Right. I think that is all the incidents covered. No, there was another one. Marco Venditti here. I think he did it all on his own. Yeah, I think before, from the previous incident, he already had damage.
Just never fully recovered.
Exactly. And now for the GTPs here, Daniel Carvalho, I think he did this all on his own. Let me see.
Please, check crash in the... Up in my left base.
Ooh.
Came in way too hot there, barely let up.
Yeah, it seems like it was a bit too soon to try and overtake there.
Just my info, my lap on Instagram. Is that penalty? What's that left?
Can't stand complaining that was a lap 1 incident with him.
Echo.
Precious.
Well, certainly an exciting start.
It is a lot of to be investigated by the stewards, but I'm sure they have enough to handle that. Mati's here trying to... No, he is ahead of Tony Patero. And we also see that the GTPs are already trying to overtake the GT3s, so the multi-class action has started. There was an accident again with Daniel Carvalho. What happened here? After his collision with the other car, I forgot. I think it was Alva Gutierrez or someone. Did he try it again?
Is it the same exact scenario?
It is.
It's the same exact thing.
Has he not learned, or does he hate the car ahead of him? That's
I mean, those would be risky maneuvers with a minute left.
Yeah. That was Carlos Pons actually. So, does he hate his Spanish neighbor or something? Because that was unusual to do the same mistake again. Meanwhile, see here the GT3s still bunch up with the GTPs. You can see on the map that they're mostly on the two straights on the track.
Can we check on car 34, please? Check the last lap, the whole last lap, car 34.
See the GTP here having to go around the Porsche, already going on the inside. Let's see an onboard of how it feels like to be passed. You have to give a bit of space for the GTPs, you know, if they're gonna start doing the overtake, you need to be, well, friendly enough for them to go around. It's much quicker than it is to try to fight the faster cars or just being on your own way. So it is good that you give a bit of space on the inside on the corner for the other car to overtake, but not too soon. You still have to do your own racing. Let's just real quick see what happened here. So Carlos Pons, which was the driver that had a problem with the Portuguese from before, crashing into him. Now, ooh, steps a bit on the grass. There you go.
Christopher, can you check lap 6 and also end of lap 3?
Has to restart go back on track.
Cruise control, can you check my lap?
Hey, what is this mistake here? So far, he's alone here. Oh, gets slightly tapped, and because he's on the inside, his car just spins automatically. That's unfortunate for him, but everyone has to go around him. When he feels it's safe, he can try and go back. There he goes.
I don't know if that was entirely safe yet, but it worked out.
Yeah. The initial part, he had to wait a bit, but at least he waited more than some other drivers we've seen. Alright, we see here, there is a fight here for P2 on the GTP class. Daniel Sedgley here trying to defend from... No, attacking Juancho Oval, I mean.
And Daniel had that really impressive lap time in qualifying as well, so definitely has the ability to overtake there, and that's not going to work out at all. Going to take it 3 wide into the turn, which leads to contact for all 3, and a spin right after.
Yes, oh, that's really dangerous returning to the track as well from that BMW. He just backs out while they were still racing and not checking if it was possible or not. The Porsche now tries to go back on track. They started on the outside, not crossing the racing line, but they are both on track. There's something for the series to check out. See if it was completely safe to return on track. But that 3 wide on that corner, that's a sandwich for the BMW there in the middle.
It's almost like they knew there was an American watching.
Why would that be?
Oh, just the full chaos of a 3 wide turn, you know. American racing.
Oh yeah,
the
on the ovals.
The contact.
2 teammates here, Craig Smith and Sean Nishikawa. Is he going? Actually, 3 teammates. The BMW is also from the same team, but they are using a different car. They are respective to each other, not trying to push the other driver at him. Goes in the outside of the BMW. Sean still keeps it behind him to avoid any incidents between the teammates. Meanwhile, we see here Yanis, I think had started from the pits or like really far behind, and now has to make up positions. He's currently last place of the class. Still has to overtake the GT3s that are on the same lap as him. Actually, that's 5 cars. GTP is really close together from behind. You can see it. Look at this. Daniel Carvalho already trying a move. Be careful, Daniel. You don't want to make the same mistake as you did 2 times before. I think he is already preparing himself to go on the inside. Kevin Gavin tries to defend it. Oh, he almost hits that Ferrari. And he gets overtaken by João Dias on the outside of turn 3. But I think he is not giving up. He's still going to try on the inside, and he actually backs out. So, and we see João Dias overtakes another GTP car. And that was at least safer than before from Daniel Carvalho. Good to see. Maybe he is learning. So, in case you don't know, the GTPs, as I said before, they have a hybrid engine, which is basically sodium batteries, and they can push a bit to give more boost on power. But they can also set it by how much power they want, like balanced. It's automatic. It's like doesn't use too much or too little. It's just balanced. Or they can use it basically in attack mode, which is more boost but drains more of the battery. But they use that usually to overtake the car that is ahead, or defending and keep the distance from the car behind. So it's a strategy involved when to use your battery. Look at this, Ronji is already going inside of Kevin Galvin. And it seems like it's gonna be a clean overtake. Yes. Seems like they are both respectful. Goes a bit on the outside, but it's fine. It's a long left corner. Oh, look at that. Kevin still has the inside on the next corner. It's not a complete overtake by João Dias. And he backs out and stays behind. That's oh! And he loses it.
Gets a little squirrely out of the corner, so not going to work out completely. Diaz going to be able to take the pass on to Kevin Galvin. Took that turn really well previous, but just got way too squirrely to hold on. You know, we saw really hard defense earlier from Kevin, actually, so... Nice to see him get a bit more lenient and not get as aggressive to defend the overtake this time. Avoid any further issues, at least for the time being.
Yes. I agree. So we saw that sometimes as a faster class you still have to be patient and not just set it completely on the slower car. And Daniel Carvalho is already going to pit. First person to pit stop, I guess.
Who wasn't forced, at least.
Yeah, it doesn't have any damage even from Aldo's mistakes. Matteo Lambert here. He has a crash, it says. So I'm wondering if he just stopped on track. Yeah, I think it's a mistake because it didn't lose any positions.
Oh.
He doesn't hit the wall, don't hit the wall. Ooh, he crashed a bit to the wall. And he goes completely back. Yes. That's exactly what he should be doing, to not stay on the racing fly. And he goes back on track. Seems like doesn't look like there's too much damage on the car, but at least he can keep going. There's a 10-second penalty for Daniel Ronke. With collision with GT3. Daniel Ronke being a GTP car, I guess he hit a GT3 when he should have just been more patient. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So Simon Garot currently leading the GT3 AM class, but overall he is in P9 of the GT3s, ahead of McLaren of Matteo Bertali. I think there was another. No, this is the only McLaren that we had on the series. Never mind, I was looking for another McLaren. But this is sadly in Sebring I forgot to put the trading paints in, and we didn't have a paint for Matteo, but now you can see it in all its glory. Driver for what's it? Ace 15? There was another team name for the team actually. There's a lot of teammates on that same team, but I think they forgot to put their name on the bottom there. It says Italy. But usually it says on the bottom there. I can show you. I think Rupe has it. There you go, like that. Alistar Esports. That's the name of the team of Rupe.
I mean, you could just put smacking esports in the back of Italy. It'll still sound cool.
Look at that. Eloy Cabanero still leading the race, by the way. Once over in P2. Trying to defend from Daniel Sergio, keeping his distance. Meanwhile, Matis here trying to attack Álvaro Gutierrez. This could be the time to do it. With the traffic ahead of him, he might take advantage. Let's see, one goes the inside, both will go now to the inside. Álvaro now has to keep it slow behind that Ferrari.
Yeah, they got a little caught up there.
Yeah. It's fine, no incidents involved, so... Ooh, they're super close to the car ahead of him.
Matheus had a really good run a couple of times, but just can't close that distance. I mean, the pack certainly affected it, but every time into the corners, it just feels like Matheus just has a bit of an edge, but coming out just can't keep up with Álvaro.
Is Matheus going to pit? Oh no, it seemed like he was going to the left side, but I think it was just to read the corner there. Yeah, it's something that he needs to be careful. Oh, look at that! Eloy Cabanero just got really close to Juanso. No, Juanso got really close to Eloy Cabanero, I mean. those 2 seconds of advantage he had, he just lost it. But now, here's some traffic. He's gaining in between these 2 cars, these 2 teammates. Ruben Duhamel just made an off track. He's really losing time, and Stefano as well. That is something we will check in a bit. I was just gonna see any overtakes are gonna happen between these cars.
Please check my lap. It's done.
Yeah, we've already did that.
Yeah, we saw that coming a while away. Sorry, Luca. Don't worry, that's not the end of it.
Alright, let's just see what happened there then with Stefano. So far he kept it behind the GT3. Is he going to push it? Oh! Yeah, he pushed it too soon and then locked up the tires, and that made him spin. Return safely. And between Carlos Ponce here.
Sorry, I was laughing at the Tinder car.
Oh yeah. In real, there's a livery of an OnlyFans car as well in real life.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, what is that? What is that from the Porsche? Did he actually not brake? Like had a problem with the brake? Because it seems like he was braking, then suddenly he wasn't. I wanted to investigate that again. Well, it is one for the stewards to watch.
Just for your information, the guy who got disqualifying, we followed him for 2 laps, going about 20 seconds on the pace. After raging and chat with a particular guy in Discord chat, he then punted that guy once he finally caught up to him. Oh no, sorry, first time he missed him trying to hit him, and then he hit him. So he's getting kicked. He's nah, goodbye.
You're going to try it now? Ooh, it looked like it was an opportunity to try Robin Duhamel, but I guess he's gonna keep it safely behind the BMW.
Yeah, actually, for the last few laps, I've been keeping my eye on Robin Duhamel, who's made a few pushes and has had some really good time gained, but every time it happens, Ricardo and Robin just run into too much traffic and Robin can't make that final move.
Sorry, race control, please check also.
Yeah, we seen it.
Meanwhile, we can see with Matis here, still trying to catch Alvaro Gutierrez. He needs...
Nice Carlo.
I mean, he's still leading by a large amount of points, but on the early stages, you gotta get as much points as you can. Otherwise, something might happen badly on the next races that you will not gain any points, like an accident, or you know, just don't have a certain pace for certain tracks. Even though everyone has a free fast repair, which just repairs the car instantly, they don't want to use it right away, you know. They might want to, like, even if it's like a small bump, they rather just keep it for the last pit stop that they do, or at least repair it on the pit stop, and not have to pit on purpose just to repair the car. Look at this, they are still getting...
Once again, Robin closes that gap, but every single time it happens, they run into traffic, and Robin has had a kind of a tough time getting through traffic just like that.
But was it... I'm not sure if Wood's fault there was. I think the GT3 just tried to overtake the Porsche for some reason. I'm not sure if that was Kevin Stem or...
5 minutes 50
we will see. That is a change for the lead. Here, Juancho Valle and Eloy Caballero finally switch positions.
Valle had kept it really close, below a second for essentially the last couple times around the track, and finally Eloy could not hold that spot any longer. But, you know, a fight between teammates, at least they kept it clean. The last thing you want to do is go for that lead, take your teammate out in the process.
Yeah, we have seen that happen right early on the race. Even not on purpose.
You know, ever lurking though, who has made up some decent time, is Daniel Sedgley.
Well, he's right there, yeah. He is creeping in. on the cars
Yeah, I
ahead
feel
of
like
him.
the last time we looked, he was very far away from the leaders and was not too far ahead of Alvaro.
Now I was gonna say, it's 25 minutes in. There is time to pit. Starting the pits, I see some cars have actually pitted from the GT3 class at least. I wonder if one of them is fuel saving from those GTPs ahead of him. Because if they pit together, it might cause even more confusion. Especially when you gotta be careful to not hit the car ahead of you when you're braking. There's a lot of things that you don't want to do when you go to the pit entry, and that's usually not cause a collision on pit or pit exit. See here, Marcelo Caserta. There, you see, some GT3s have started to pit. A lot of them, especially the leaders. At least P3. Rupe. Oh, someone behind the McLaren there just made a mistake, and he actually had to back out because he entered his wrong pit. Look at the BMW as well.
My goodness.
They have missed. They probably haven't practiced enough of the pit entries. Look, Leon as well.
You pointed out when we saw Daniel do it, Daniel Sedgley, from the GTPs during both qualifying and the warm-ups, you pointed out the practice of pits and how much that would matter.
Yes.
And we're seeing it pay its dividends now.
Juancho Vale pitted first. Eloy Cabin keeps going then. But we did see that Porsche of Leon just missing his pit lane entry. Because there's like a limit of number of pits as well. Some cars have to be placed together with each other. As you see, the GTP here is on top of the GT3. Meanwhile, they are still racing. Look, Daniel even caught up to Eloy Caballero.
And we were talking about that. We were saying it was a possibility. And a car off the track, it's going to be Leon.
Yes, we did see him missing his pit lane, and he cannot back up. He cannot use the reverse, so he has to go another lap. And I think he's being really, really careful to not run out of fuel for the extra lap. Otherwise, it's game over for him.
But just to go back to these leaders for GTP, we did talk about Daniel lurking and being ever present, ever looking out. So even with the pits coming up, Daniel's somebody I would keep my eyes on. It's just being a looming threat and something Eloy has to be prepared for. Same thing with Eloy's teammate.
I think this is time now for the top two to pit as well. There he goes. Eloy actually pitted. Daniel doesn't. I think he's gonna pit
Daniel
later.
Stayed out.
Just seeing if he misses his pit entry, and otherwise his race lead just gone.
And lap 17 lost word, please.
There we go. He actually went careful there. So pit stops have started. We can also see where is it? There you go. Who has done it and who hasn't? So far, I think all the GT3s, all of them have done it. The last ones are on the pit right now, but every GT3 has done it. The GTPs are still keeping on. This is a lap GTP. The lap cars of the same class have to let the other car go through. Okay, Eloy Caballero has just exited right next to his teammate. But
Yeah,
hold
for how
on.
they've been racing so far, that's probably exactly where they want to be.
Yes. Exactly. Now, Daniel Serge should be going in. He is going in the pit. Tony Patera and Matis. Matis is going to the pit. Tommy will be the next one. And then it's going to be a race here for Eloy and Juancho to get out, to get ahead of them before they pit exit. Which I think they should be doing because they were still far ahead from the other cars, right?
Yes.
Tommy Pato did not pit, by the way. It's interesting because if he thinks he can do it in one single pit stop, That should be a huge advantage for him. It is only 29 minutes left. 29 minutes in. The next lap is going to be 40 minutes in. He has been fuel saving a whole bunch then. That's a really good strategy for Tommy Patero. It really paid off if he actually managed to do it with only a single pit stop. There we go. He gets in between Juancho and Eloy Daniel. So he overtook one car. Technically. Tommy Patero still grips on. But yeah, usually you have to do two pit stops. But from the way Tommy is driving with only one pit stop, and he already has a 24-second gap because you lose quite a lot of time with pitting. But he has not lost too much time racing and fuel saving at the same time. There he goes.
We'll take a late pit though.
So he only needs to pit one time and he should be able to win it. The question is he gonna get out with a lot of GTP traffic in the middle? So this is already in it. Here comes Juancho Vale. Plus the line, now it goes to turn 1. Eli coming in, still trying to catch Daniel from his last pit stop time. Tommy Patero should be getting out of the pits right now. Yeah, he will be placed behind Matiz and Navarro. And we need to see the lap the time that is gap to the leader. That's the real question I have. So really close, Daniel and Eloy. Juancho got some distance. Do you reckon that Eloy can catch up because he started in P1? Remember, he was the fastest driver here. Can he get that P2 or even P1?
I feel pretty confident Eloy can find his way back there. I mean, we've seen really strong racing between Eloy and Ovale this entire time, and that was with Eloy and Ovale notably being a little bit safer because they're racing their teammate. If you can add I don't want to say aggressive, but if you can add some more stern racing to that on top of the great times that Eloy's put out, Daniel's got to be ready for this. There's a lot of strong potential for Eloy to get back up there and make it that 1-2 team race we've seen so far.
Alright. Tommy Patero now is currently 21 seconds behind the leader. This should not be enough time if he pits again. I think it should be enough, yes, but at the time he's driving, I think he will lose a bit of time while doing his lap time. So let's just say he needs about 25 seconds, actually less now, because the last pit stop is going to be less fuel for the other drivers, while he needs still full fuel. No, I'm wrong. He doesn't need fuel. I meant he already did his pit stop. He just needs to keep at least 25 seconds gap to the leader, because when the leader pits, yeah, you see what I'm trying to tell you? The previous pit stop was 25 seconds for everyone because they had to put full fuel. Now the next pit stop is going to be less fuel for the other drivers. That doesn't mean he needs 25 seconds ahead of the gap to the leader. He actually needs less because the pit stop is going to be much quicker for the other drivers. Tommy Patero's chance of even winning it is just pushing it hard. I'm not sure if it really compensated him to do this while a single pit stop, but at least some positions he might gain, like P5 at least.
You're considering Tommy Patero currently sitting at 6th place in the standings. Definitely something that Tommy has considered to be worth it to try to make up some ground in the standings. It is a very close race in the standings, points-wise, in that middle of the pack. So we'll have to see how it works out. Oh, we get spun! Stefano, and now they continue to touch. That is not where you want to be.
That is so unfortunate.
Tight racing leading to too much.
That is so unfortunate for these... well, the prototypes were just minding your business, but That Porsche did a single mistake. I think he stepped on the grass. They just crashed into both of them. That is unfortunate. And they just did the pit stops too. So João Dias has to pit to repair the damage. He can't even like wait to pit.
Stefano had a very calm race up to this point.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't even stop. Did you see that? João just went straight to... I think he had enough incidents to make him have to do a drive-through penalty. I think he did. Yeah. Eloy Caballero just pitted. Hello? That's interesting. He was near the leader. What happened?
And the car has been running wonderfully so far. Well, that certainly shakes up the leader situation. It's going to put a volley in the lead defending Daniel Sedgley.
I wonder what his strategy was. Maybe he thought, since I still have to do a pit stop, I'll just do it now. But you would better be running with less fuel, because you are always quicker with less fuel.
And it seems kind of out of character from what we've seen so far for Eloy and Avali to make a decision, assuming it was a team decision, of course, that would separate them, considering they've done everything so far in sync. So
yeah.
For Eloy to do that and kind of put himself on an island for the remainder of this race, just, it seems odd.
Now look, Eloy is now behind Tommy Patero. And if what it makes it seems true, both I have already done their pit stops. So Eloy could just pass them and he would still technically win. And Tommy will not get the lead because he's currently fighting for position, these two drivers. Meanwhile, these two drivers are fighting for the lead, which is a completely different history. Daniel hasn't led this race yet. He is trying to.
That's been the story so far for Daniel Sedgley, just having the great times, having the fast car, but not having the perfect opportunity to make an overtake, make a clean pass to do it. And I mean, look at the time that gets made up from Daniel constantly. It's just, I've been seeing it the entire race from Daniel so far. We saw it when Daniel was in fourth. It's been impressive to see, but eventually Daniel's got to actually turn it into some kind of overtake over Ovalle if he wants to actually, you know, make it worth it. I mean, great runs, great speed are amazing, but ultimately you want the position.
Ruben here, who was the previously AM driver, now in Pro Class, he is in P5. Oh, overall. So you can see why the change of classes had to be done.
Yeah, I was actually, earlier I was going to point that out, that Stephen's been having a very strong race for the first time up into the Pro Class.
Oh,
the same measure.
Hold on, before we see that happen with Stefan Albanese. I'm still seeing this battle between the João Dias here and the other BMW, but what happened here? I just saw the Porsche spinning. Does he do it on his own? He does! Oh, that's so unfortunate. You see what happens, like, and he gets hit. Oh. That's a clear penalty for that prototype. Sure, Stefan already crashed, but there was no space.
Plenty of space there.
Yes. Currently, it's almost 20 minutes before the race finishes, and let's see who gained the most positions. I think it is from the GTPs. It's mostly the most gained position is 4 positions by Robin Duhamel. Once Ovalle started in P4, is all the way up to P1. Mati started in P7. He's all the way to P3. Oh wait, I did the wrong calculus. He's starting P6 and he's all the way to P3. It's P positions again. Robin Duhamel and Robin, that gained 4 positions here, is trying to defend his from Ricardo Tallin. So far it seems like it's going good. Meanwhile, on the GT3 side, Osman here, let's just check out real quick on the pit stops. Yeah, Osman only did 1 pit stop, but he gained 25 positions overall. That's of course counting with the prototypes, but the prototypes there weren't even many that DNF. It's like only 1 actually is behind him. So that's 25 positions on the GT3 class. I think he started from the pit lane or something, because to gain 25 positions is an immense work that's being done.
Not easy whatsoever, and especially in a race as chaotic as what we've seen, where the pack racing has been really tough to get through safely. It says a lot.
Yeah. Currently we have 49 cars on track. 49. Oh, Kevin Sam crashed. And it seems like it was a lump. Is a prototype coming in? Let's see. It's just loss of control, yeah.
We've seen that so many times in that first turn.
You know why this happens? The GT3 especially are not as downforce, doesn't have as much downforce as the GTPs. So they don't stick much to the ground and speed. So if the car loses a bit of control, the weight, because these cars are pretty heavy and pretty high, the weight just makes the car just balance out and the rear goes out. So when the rear goes out, you just lose control, right? Usually you have traction control to help you stabilize the car, but that doesn't help. That really does not help. Traction control is more really in case you step on the grass and almost instantly spin. But when you are losing slowly control of the car, that's just game over. But Kevin did not lose it. You saw how he just kept it straight, but had to go off track, which is exactly what you have to do.
You know, one interesting light battle for position currently is between that 4th and 5th spot for GT3 Pro, between Stefano Gatsuo and Ruben Stegman, both drivers who had been moved up to the Pro spot, just battling for position. I find that really, it's telling of what you said. It brings that balance in place. I mean, if they run into each other for GT3 Pro, it tells the story.
Just saw Ricardo Riva going off track. I wonder if he just stopped on track. Okay.
That's tough.
Yeah. That's why he's on the pitch currently. It wasn't even too far for the pitch. You could just push the car there. Notice how Eloy hasn't catch Tommy.
Yeah, Eloy, who's had incredibly fast laps as well, and we know has been on it on this track. Just, I thought, honestly, I thought for sure when Eloy got into that position that we'd see Eloy catch Tommy. I'd say by now, but I expected it maybe even 5 minutes ago.
There we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So, you see the positions gained from the drivers? Yeah. And here is Osman actually gained 9 positions on the Pro class, but he gained 25 overall. So that's including the AM GT3s. That's what I wanted to tell. Which is still not an easy feat. Even if it's just 9 overtakes on his class, that's a lot. To overtake 25 overall, the guy is committed, that's for sure. Really good driver.
Yeah, making the most of the promotion.
Look, Tommy is still 20 seconds, 0.4 behind the leader. It'd be, I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough for, as I said, when the others pits, if he can still overtake them. But at least he is not losing time, and that's a lot more important, so that he doesn't lose to the car behind him. Now, there is something that happened here which I want to check. Currently, Daniel is all alone. We've seen him having a lot of incidents. But doesn't seem like it was his fault this time. Yeah. And the car just disappears to the Shredder realm, apparently. That was weird. It just disappeared. He drifted himself to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, absolutely, just sent astray. You know, Daniel is somebody who, especially on these first few turns, once we get back there, we should really take a closer look at Daniel Sedgley. Just the time that gets made up at after the start-finish line in the first few turns from Daniel Sedgley is ridiculous. I've been watching it for the last few laps now.
Yeah. Samir currently reading the GT3 AM. Currently P10 overall of the GT3s. Good on him.
Something we haven't talked about a lot, but honestly, if we haven't had a reason to kind of look at you and talk about you, considering how this race has gone, that's probably for the best.
If, like, it might not even that much happening. Like, we see here on the top 3, like, Alessandro Porta. Just keeping himself on the track, like, no problems, just leading. We saw that happen to Rupe a lot. Speaking of Rupe, why is in P7? I am not sure if any incidents happened with him, but that is unusual to see Rupe in P7. Did he pit stop? He did, you see, that's why he's in P7. Because the cars ahead of him hasn't pitted.
I was going to say we had the incident earlier, but that was first 10 minutes of the race.
Yes. We will see how it goes when everyone has done their pit stops. So currently Rupe is net P1. But yeah, 49 cars on track. Actually now a bit less. Some have given up. It's about 40 cars on track. On his sort of short circuit, but still plenty of space to do overtakes between classes. What do you think of the race so far?
I've been enjoying it. I've really been invested in both the decision making out of Tommy Patero and Eloy Cabanero, but I'm also really interested, and I know I've said it a million times now, but this race between Avali and Sedgley has been so fascinating to me because it feels like Sedgley just needs something to give to be able to truly give a battle to Avali here early. I mean, look right here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. These first few turns around that a little bit after the start-finish line, Sedgley makes up so much time, gets so close to Avali, but then as we get further into the track, Avali definitely has a better handle on it, gets further ahead. That's been the most interesting battle for me to watch. Aside from that, though, I've been really invested in... unfortunately, we saw what happened to Gatsuo a few times now, but Stedman and Gatsuo both have been impressive so far, knowing they've gone up to that promotion to the Pro Class.
I was going to say, you talked about, Daniel having the opportunity. Look, he pitted 2 laps later than Juanso. If anything, Daniel is still in an advantage. When he pits, he's probably going to spend less time in the pit, but also, he's going to pit later than Juanso, so he's not going to have the traffic ahead of him. It's probably a good strategy for Daniel to just keep behind him and feel safe. As he passes out the Tinder car.
I was going to say, there's a Tinder car, swipe left. It shows the quality of Avali's race so far, because one mistake, one squirrely moment, like we've seen so many drivers have, and essentially would have passed by now.
Oh yeah. Also, let's not forget Mati. Mati is still in P3. He gained 3 positions during the race. Still getting contention for a podium.
Yeah, and over the last couple of minutes has actually managed to make up about a second and a half or so, roughly, on Sedgley, which is, considering the state of the race and the way pits worked out, because Mati's, I remember, had the easiest time through due to the pack racing. Really impressive so far.
Let's see what happened here with Oriol Juncosa. Okay, went off track, fine. Keep it. Alright, that's a bit too stopped. I guess he just decided to just move out. It's weird, because he didn't have an accident. He could just... maybe something...
I was ready to give compliments.
I think something happened in real life, you know? Because all these drivers, but everyone is on their homes.
Yeah, water certainly spilled.
Or
Water or Red Bull, depending on what you need.
Or the cat just went via your pedals.
Yeah, you can always blame the cat. It's a safe bet.
Look at how close Daniel is. And he's like not taking
Wally got
opportunity.
loose for the first time.
And he's not taking like a proper opportunity to just overtake Wanto. 9 minutes to go. Pit stops have to start happening. We see on the... well, where is it? I forgot to put it here. Pit stop, there we go. The GT3s have not done it yet, which I find it interesting. How Rupe was the only one that did a second pit stop yet. Well, not only, but now Ruben Saveman is even ahead of him.
And just a reminder, too, to the viewers that we're still kind of awaiting how the Tommy Patero and Eloy situation will work itself out, because Tommy did take a very interesting strategy with pits, and Eloy did the same thing, just slightly differently with a very early second pit stop. So both of those two will be interesting to keep our eyes on.
Oriol here, still in P3 of his class though. And DC is keeping it really well managed. And he gets he might get the podium for his class. He might even get P2 if he can catch Simon right ahead of him in less than a second. But
credit where credit's due, Oriol's been in the midst of some trouble in this race, so to be able to end up at a podium spot is really impressive. Some of that early trouble like there was a wreck that caught up Amy amongst others. Oriol was right in the middle of that.
Yeah, it was.
Starting to see a bunch of cars take the pits.
Yes, especially GT3s, but prototypes, only the ones on the last places so far. So I want to see how the strategy is going on with the ones that we have been looking for. But look, Daniel just keeps behind him. I am sure if we even go on board of Daniel, we can probably even hear the motor just lifting up the throttle and just coasting it. Yeah, he is coasting. Definitely a fuel saving maneuver. But why didn't he try to do a single pit stop like Tommy is perhaps doing? As we see now, the top 3 GT3s all pitted, by the way.
That had to, I guess that would have had to have been just a late decision, maybe adjusting to what we saw Eloy and Tommy do. And we know that Daniel's had some of the fastest laps around this track, so it would make sense that Daniel was almost choosing to save his own.
No, he's still keeping it.
Up Ovale.
Yeah, but he still keeps it, just stays behind him. I would think that would probably just time to overtake, but no, he's just keeping it safe behind him.
And that would have been a great position. Ovale got slowed up there. But
there he goes.
Going to be pits for Ovale, essentially stays out. coming up on 5 minutes left.
As these two go side by side to turn 1.
Gutierrez to the pits as well.
Well, I just remembered something. And Rupe, which did the 2 pit stops, is still so far behind the other cars ahead of him. So he probably did pit really soon, didn't he? I actually forgot the incident because so much happens in the race, you know? I actually forgot why Rupe is so far behind.
Well, the only reason I remember the incident was the color of the car. Oh, Oriol.
Yeah, something has happened to him. Let's see. Gonna lose control of the car. Yeah, exactly the same way.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. Such a good race so far.
Yeah, that was his podium opportunity just gone. And now he has to
That's so unfortunate.
reverse it.
Tough break for Oriol in its Tinder car.
Look at this, Tommy Patero, Juan Salvalli, and Eloy Caminero. They are... Tommy is ahead of all those two. But he needs to be ahead of Daniel Sedgwick. That's the car that he needs to beat to get the race win.
And somebody we haven't looked at, we're not sure on the fuel conservation situation of that you've mentioned is Matisse as well. Still hanging out in second and comfortably.
Yeah, but let me see the pit stops. Which lap did he pit? I think it was even earlier than Daniel. No, the same lap as Daniel, I mean. I'm not sure if he can make it till the end with only one pit stop. We see now the Alonso and Eloy. One of them is Spanish, the other one is Colombian. Or did I get it wrong? No. I forgot. It's Venezuela, isn't it?
Hey, they started this race together.
No, it's Colombia.
We talked about it a ton. Close block there from Patero onto a volley. We started this race together. We talked about that a ton. They pitted together initially. I'm sure they'd love to end up together, but they're going to have to deal with Patero and the pit strategy that we spent so much time waiting for the results of. 3 minutes left. It's time to see that result.
It's going to be some really tense last 5 minutes of the race. It's going to be some really perhaps action happening between Tom Patero and these two drivers of Mass Devil team. But also, I'm really curious.
For it.
I'm really curious just to see if Daniel can make it though. But Daniel is he went to lap 21, and I think it's about the next lap. It's going to be lap 42, or this lap is 42. If it's time to pit, it's going to be time to... Oh! No! Tom Patero just hits the Ferrari!
And it's going to take a volley out as well.
Oh!
That's insane. 58 minutes. Such a wonderful race to this point. And Tommy Patero, who had made such an interesting decision, that we've been waiting so desperately to see how it works out. For it to end like that, that is so unfortunate.
It is. And it doesn't seem like he has damage, but all that work that has to be done just to, lose the potential race win like that, it's so unfortunate.
And at minimum, I was looking at a podium, considering the situation.
Let's just see that again. We need to see that.
Absolutely. So there is the car in front, takes
Yes.
the turn.
And the cars behind him wait, so he goes to the inside. Oh, I see what happened there.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if it even seems like they hit the wall, yeah. But how is that the Ferrari's fault? I'm not sure if it's the Ferrari's fault, is it?
Be a fun
White
one for
flag.
the steward to decide. As the white
We
flag
have
does
the
get
white flag.
waved.
So that means that Daniel should be on his last lap, but Matisse has pitted on the last lap.
Wow. There must have just been no option for Matisse.
Yes, but look, he's still P2. It is not a race loss for him, even after pitting on the last lap. Eli kind of lost a bit of time. He could have been on P2 right now, but can this actually be a race win for Daniel?
Yeah, can Daniel make it is the big question. 20 seconds left. We're on the white flag lap. So this is the time for Daniel. We spent so much time talking about Tommy Patero, and we spent a lot of time kind of mentioning, hey, Daniel's got that fast car. Clearly he's conserving when he was behind Ovale. It's coming to fruition now.
And it looks like it is second flag. That is an excellent strategy there from Daniel. Actually, it made it perfect. 22 seconds lead ahead of P2 because of his fuel saving. And yeah, that's, I think, not... That's his first race win. It is the first race win of the season for Daniel Sedgley as well. Matis is going to cross in P2 of the GTP class.
Even with the late pit stop.
Even with the late pit stop. And P3 for Eloy Caballero loses the race win.
Ovale and Patero, unfortunately, as we saw, races will end not the way that was deserved considering the decisions made.
Nice, Daniel. Nice race. Very good.
That was a fantastic. We knew that something was going to happen last 5 minutes, but it completely reversed the results that I was thinking. I at least thought there was going to be a battle between Daniel and the Masked Devil drivers, but no, Daniel just cruised around to win it by 22 seconds. As now these...
Porta will take it for GT3 Pro.
Now they're doing a little parade lap there. But yeah, as well, Carlos Boza in P2, Antonio Vitozzi in P3 of the GT3 Pros. Samir, I think he's still on track, by the way, Samir. He is still crossing the line. So he's going to be like a 1 lap ahead of P2 of the GT3 AM. Simon Guerrero already crossed the line P2 and Leon Elwood in P3 for the GT3 AM.
It was an exciting race. I mean, it took turns we didn't expect. Daniel Sedgley, and we spent, like I said, we spent a lot of time. We kept noticing that Daniel had the faster car, but was essentially just choosing not to take advantage of it and was conserving the fuel, and it ended up being the perfect decision. Leads to a first for Daniel, and you know, I'm sure we'll talk about it again, and it'll be something when we look back at the race we'll remember, but Ovale and Patero getting into it, just it's so unfortunate. I would have loved to see a world where those two don't get into it, don't have the issues they had, and we get to see how that would have worked out, especially for Patero.
Just seeing if anyone wants to do an interview, because I have a lot of questions about that, especially for Daniel.
Yeah, especially.
It wasn't really an eventful race for Alessandro Porta. Actually, we didn't even see them doing much on the race. We did see some for Rupe, which I also should probably ask if he wants to do an interview. But man, what a roller coaster at that ending of the race. It was all just working towards that ending. So it was really calculated from the drivers. And Matis, I didn't expect him to get a pole on this race, but that means he gets...
Well, you said it. You said it. You pointed out that Matis had a clean, kind of sneaky race, was just kind of coasting and was alone for a long time.
Yeah, but that means races 1, 2, 3 were won by Matis. This is the first race that Matis does not win in the GTP class. That's an amazing streak. Even though other races he didn't qualify in pole position, he at least won it every time. And he could have won it probably if then he actually pitted the second time. But strategy wise, you gotta practice to see if you can do all these races as well in 2 pit stops or 1 pit stop. It looks like you could do it in 1 pit stop, and that is fantastic for Daniel. Almost a good result as well for Tommy. He could have actually placed himself, what, P2? He could have easily placed himself in P2 if that accident didn't happen.
Yeah, like I said, I personally am always going to wonder how that battle for position would have gone between Ovale, Patero, and Carbonaro for that matter.
So real quick, just see. These are the race results for the GTP class. So Daniel Sedgley in P1, Matis Wheaton in P2, Eloy Caballero in P3, P4 for Juan to Ovale, P5 for Tommy Patero, P6 for Alvaro Gutierrez, P7 for Robin Duhamel, Okay, Robin Duhamel. P8 for Ricardo Tallin, P9 for Sebastian Woodcraft, P10 for Danny Roque, Stefano Rebesi in P11, Kevin Gavin in P12, P13 for Craig Smith, P14 for João Dias, P15 for Carlos Ponce, P16 for Sean Nishizaka, P17 for Daniel Carvalho, P18 for Yanis Day. Let's go for
A
the
strong ending for Robin Duhamel, who had that wreck early on too.
Robin, and he gained how many positions? Four positions as well. So it's a good effort for him to battle the grid. P1 for Alessandro Porta in the GT3 Pro class, Carlos Boss in P2, Antonio Vitozzi in P3, Ruben Stageman in P4. You see how him jumping for P to the Pro class is actually even more competitive now. Rupe only made it out to P5, Osman third in P6, Stefan Gattuso in P7, Mattia Ubertali in P8, Marcelo Cassette in P9, Mirko Fincato in P10, Ken Stein in P11, Daniel Maggioni in P12, P14 for Thomas Avanzini, P14 for Andrea Dalla, and P15 for Nicolo Venditti.
Impressive end for Stegman, as well as Gatsuo, in their first pro race, almost a podium for one of them. Very impressive.
Yeah, and he actually beat Rupe, which was his championship leader. And lastly, on the GT3 AM class, we got Samir Arshad in P1, Simon Garon P2, Anthony Quaranta in P3, Elwood in P4, Johan Brinstel in P5, Olio Beck in P6, Marco Capezzoli in P7, Matteo Lemmer in P8, Amy Grime in P9, Aurelio Juncosa in P10, P11 for Ricardo Riva, P12 for Stefan Albanese Sr., P13 for Afonso Queiroz, P14 for Michael Buter, P15 for Kevin Buter, P16 for Barry Baltas.
And while I give you a moment to check on interviews and such, I do want to say that Daniel Sedgley, who unfortunately won't be able to have an interview with us, said that we were about 8 seconds from doing an extra lap, and had we gotten that extra lap, it looks like Daniel might not have made it around. So that was the fuel situation. It was as tight as we were expecting, and the conservation clearly worked out to a perfect calculation, but we were 8 seconds away from disaster for the winner today for GTP class.
Daniel said it cannot be in the interview, but he did say he was 8 seconds from doing an extra lap. I guess he just waited a bit for the white flag to go on so that he didn't have to pit on the last lap. So good effort for him, but well, since we don't have interviews, let's just wrap this up. Thank you so much, Anthony, for being here on your first commentating here with us, but you did a lovely job.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun, a fantastic first race, and not as exciting of an as an ending as we could have possibly had, unfortunately for Tommy Patero and for Ovale, but still an incredibly exciting race with a surprising winner who made some really good choices. It was an awesome first race for me and Anti-Stall.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you next race, right on the next week at... Oof, now I forgot which one it was. Just a moment, I need to check. Yeah, next week on Watkins Glen. Fantastic track, American track that we see on IMSA many times.
Yeah, track I know about. Let's
go. Know? Yeah. So yeah, see you everyone, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.